Alright, making a new Nerf Strike tier list. I've made a few of these past. Never recorded one. But I decided I would do that this time. So first things first, why is there already some ranked down here? These have nothing better than at least one weapon up here. Just straight up does everything worse. These are the ones that, kind of lean towards, maybe could do something. So there's potential on these two to be viable weapons. Actually, this one as well. I don't know what that's doing there. The rest of these kind of don't seem like they ever will be. But all of these weapons are. The discussion around them is not, are they good weapons? Or are they good weapons in comparison to the other? The discussion is, could they be good weapons? Right? It's not how good are they, it's could they be. And that's not what we're going to cover today. What we're going to cover instead is how good the good weapons are, the ones that actually have a legitimate claim to be better, to do something that no other weapon can. And yeah, let's get into it. Let's start, I guess, kind of. I haven't collected my thoughts at all. Let's just start with the worst of all of these, the Pharaoh. This weapon just kind of sucks. It is worse than the weapons down here, actually. These weapons, all of these weapons here, are just better than this one. But it does have the fastest travel speed in the game. I gotta give that to it. It does have the fastest bullet speed in the game. But it's so slow that it's just not worth the risk of even shooting the gun. Because shooting it is quite a commitment. You can't shoot for a while. There's a good chance you're gonna die before you get a second shot. Um, and it does have the fast travel speed. It does have the most lenient shot in the game. I guess around a corner it's good, but like it's not good. It's terrible. Like the only thing I can even think about doing it is on base or something, and you're like, for some reason your opponent's forced to make the move. I guess it could be good there because your opponent is the one that has to make progress against you. If you're in the lead, then it's good, I guess. But no, really, it's not. It's just not worth the extreme risk of using. Um, it's just not worth it at all. So for that reason, D tier, it's just actual trash. Now we have actually good, competent weapons to use. Um, I don't actually know where the next worst weapon is. I do. It's probably the Thunderbow or the Skyblaze or the Dorado. I think the Dorado needs more proof. The Dorado's claim to fame is through a wall climbing technique that one person can do. I have not learned how to do it. I don't know how to do it. I don't know. It doesn't feel like I even can do it. I've never even done it once, but he can do it consistently. And a few other weapons he's found can as well, but they're just not easy like the Dorado. I have no idea what the secret is to wall climbing, so um, for that reason, I can't give it much better than if someone can figure out the secret. This is why I can't give it much better than. If someone can figure out the secret, then it probably has legitimate claims to be an A tier weapon, B tier. I don't know. It depends on how good wall climbing really is. But until then, I can't say it's better than theoretically good because no one can prove its legitimacy. Um, and that's where I'm gonna leave it here. Um, Next we have the Skyblaze. The Roto Fury, I feel like, is the biggest damage to this weapon because one of the more recent discoveries is that yes, it does have a legitimate thing. I tried figuring it out. It was crazy because every other player seemed to use it. They couldn't tell me why they used it, but they did. Um, so I looked in the mirror and I thought, okay, other players are using this weapon legitimately. Maybe it's me that the one that doesn't get it. I think the way to look at it more is that people don't know why they're using it, but they are, right? It is definitely, was before definitely a can use weapon, which I'll probably explain later in the video or, after the video's done, in the Discord. I'll hopefully have that link to anyone who finds this video randomly. Um, but, um, it always had, like, kind of the same level as the Commander, in terms of fire rate and the Volt, but always was a peg below and the Magnus. So it was similar to these two weapons more so than the Volt and the fire shot, but recently it's figured out that it actually has a faster bullet speed than those weapons. So actually, I'm not sure about the fire strike. Wait, I think it does. Yeah, right? I think so. Yeah. But and if it doesn't, then it has a straighter shot. So yeah. Um. So I think that the big problem with the Thunderbow is it has terrible accuracy. It really has horrible accuracy. Like it really is noticeable, and there are multiple times where I thought I would have hit that. I could have hit that shot, but the accuracy with a different weapon, I could have hit that shot, but the accuracy is so terrible that you can't I missed it because it was the accuracy. So for that reason, let me just close that. I just can't give it higher than a C tier. I feel like it actually struggles with accuracy, which no other weapon in the game really struggles with accuracy at all. Um, I just can't give it higher than a C tier as much as I'd like to. I think it's a cool weapon. It's always been like that kind of secret underrated weapon. High risk, high reward, but it's not so bad that it's the Pharaoh. But oh, I just can't, especially because now there's like option. It's now that the fire shot and the Roto Fury kind of make that bridge between the Volt and the. I can't give it higher than that. Yeah. So then next up is probably the Sky Blaze. Maybe it's better than this. I could see it being better than this. In fact, yeah, I think it gets better than this. Maybe not. Maybe I just put the Moto Strike there. I'm thinking about this. I'll put it here for now. Sky Blaze is a shotgun. A lot of people haven't bought the gun because it's a Robux gun. It's a 3-shot shotgun that's extremely slow. In fact, the second slowest weapon in the game. Um, but it kind of makes up for this. The 3 shots can cover a giant area and almost act as a bigger bullet. That's kind of the best way to describe them. They're probably going to hit their target, but it's so high risk. It's also really fast bullet speed. It's really high risk, but it actually has like anti-accuracy problems. Like it's very inaccurate because the shotgun and it can just straight up miss sometimes. But 99% of the time, one of those 3 shots are going to hit. And you can just kind of generally aim in the vicinity of your target. It's very straight, and it gets away with a lot of things that really shouldn't. I have a soft spot for this weapon, and I think not really. I don't have a soft spot, and I think it gets a C tier. Maybe it's worse than the Thunderbow or the Dorado. I mean, the Dorado could be really good, and we don't know it. But yeah, for now, it's getting a C tier. And then next is the Moto Strike. I should mention that the Dorado and Moto Strike are very similar to the Echo. So these weapons have 2 problems. They're worse than the Echo, but they do something better. In this case, the Dorado can climb walls, right? That's crazy, but it's worse than the Echo statistically. Uh, this weapon actually is better than this Dorado or the Echo in one statistic, and then worse than others. Also the Ultra One, but we'll get into the Ultra One versus Echo in a second. When it comes time for. The Moto Strike has a faster fire rate than the Echo in this case, but it's horribly inaccurate. It's so slight it's barely noticeable. Maybe it's a C tier weapon. Maybe not. Maybe. I don't know. Actually, I think it is a C tier weapon. I think it is like I don't know. I feel like these weapons are really confusing because their strengths are more theoretical because no one plays with them. Uh, that's the secret. No one plays with these weapons, so it's really hard to say. Um, maybe if we get someone to start like convert to a weapon, then I'll get it more. But I've tried. I actually can't get the Dorado, but I've tried the other weapons. I just think, yeah. So really hard to say where this weapon goes. Mm. I tell you, I haven't collected my thoughts while ranking this at all. So, Moto Strike, it shoots so slightly faster. Like, I did really rudimentary math, and it shot like 4 extra bullets in like 30 seconds or something. And it is crazy small faster, but definitely faster. You can 100% confirm it's faster, but it's barely noticeable faster. Its accuracy is horrible. I'm gonna give it a C tier, but I also will say this is C tier. This feels right. I think this is right, actually. Maybe the Rado. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like I said, it's hard to say. Uh, Maybe what I actually do is I move all of these up. Now we'll let this figure out. Next up, Roto Fury. I think it's pretty solid. I think definitely with big meta shakeup because I don't exactly know how much faster it is compared to the. I feel like this almost feels like a question I need answered. Screw it. Um, I'm actually just gonna pull it up. There. No, okay, never mind. It's hard to tell, but I'm gonna try. But with how much faster it is. Okay, yeah, I think it is faster at bullet speed. All right. Yeah, I kind of can tell. There you go. Then I think it is faster. I'm pretty sure it's faster based off of that. It's also straighter. I think it has like a little niche there, but not a very big one. Um, yeah, I think it has a better bullet speed than even the fire shot, which is kind of the peak for it. Without as much of a curve, but slower fire rate, which keeps it from really even being as good as the fire shot. And I think, yeah, I think it's definitely the worst of like the good weapons. Hard to say if it's on the. I think it's definitely the most borderline between the bad ones and the good ones. These are kind of the bad good weapons, the bad viable weapons. They are all like everything above the Pharaoh is kind of compatible with even this weapon, this weapon, this weapon. They're all like, and these weapons for sure. They all can work, right? But these weapons down here, while they aren't great, do work. Yeah, I'll say that. Next, I kind of think it's the Ember Strike and the Titan. I don't know much about enough about the Titan to really rank it, but I can definitely tell you it's an amazing weapon. The Ember Strike is a weapon I thought was just really bad until I started playing with it a lot. And I started realizing the actual true strength is that you don't need to aim. You can shoot in the general vicinity of your target, and you will almost certainly hit them. The Ember Strike is just a better Warden. People clown the Warden for being one of the worst weapons in the game and in real life, but that's besides the point. Um, but the Ember Strike is just a good Warden. It's like actually legitimately good weapon. It's not as slow. It's not as sluggish. It genuinely has a niche and is genuinely useful. So I can't say it's like so the reason it's good is because around a corner you can peek for basically as little time as you want. You can shoot a bullet; it'll probably hit someone. You can go back to waiting for the cooldown too. So that's like something you can do on base. On other weapons, you can kind of shoot where they're going to be, and then by the time the bullets get there, hopefully it'll hit them. You can make it almost impossible to get through a choke because they have to respect the area. It's just really strong weapon. Then the Titan is the ultimate choke killer. If you want to get past the Titan on a choke, yeah, good luck. At best, you're getting a trade. And you're probably not getting that trade because they don't have to work as hard. They kill those chokes, but it struggles at long range, super hard. The real question is how much does it struggle? If it doesn't struggle as much as I think it is, it's definitely an S tier weapon. Um, or if it really comes down to when does a Titan main enter the scene. Someone who mains a Titan probably will finally show his power. In fact, also the Ember Strike, I've thought about converting, but I haven't. Next, I think it's the Echo. Echo is kind of looked at as like the premier auto weapon, and it kind of is. I think the Ultra One is better, but we'll get to that in a second. Um, I'll just put it up there. Why not? Because they're both kind of similar. Both worth talking about here. Um, they're both the premier auto weapons. They both have great accuracy. Both have a good fire rate. Both of them are just statistically leagues above the others. The real question is, do you want the great, basically amazing at everything Echo, or do you want the faster bullet speed of the Ultra One? So they have very similar fire rates, but the Echo has a basically 100% accurate shot. There's basically no accuracy deviation in the Echo. And the Echo also has probably one of the straightest bullets in the game. Definitely not like straight for an auto weapon for sure. It's definitely the straightest of all the autos. That's what I should say. It's the straightest of all the autos, and that gives it actually a big range advantage over them too. Because they have to work significantly less to aim. The Ultra One has a faster bullet speed though, and it's not like slightly faster. It's like pretty significantly faster. So it is actually a big deal which one you take. I think the Ultra One's slightly better, but I could also see the Echo being better. It really is up to personal preference more than anything. Which, speaking of another personal preference, a debate as old as time, the Echo and the Fire Strike. These have been like the best weapons. In fact, all of these have been. These four have like kind of, well, not you and you, but definitely the Volt and the Echo have been basically top meta since they were introduced. Except before, as soon as Single Shot was introduced, they have been like top meta. I think ultimately both of these weapons do one thing better than their counterparts. They have a faster bullet speed. So let's talk about what the Volt's niche is. The Volt is the best single fire in the weapon in the game. There are a bunch of other single shot weapons in the game. The kind of you. I guess no, you're kind of your own thing. All these weapons are single shots. You might not recognize them as single shots, but they absolutely are once you start thinking about them a bit more. Um, and the Volt has the simplest thing over them. It's the fastest of them all, so it doesn't have to give up so much. Like it doesn't have such a high risk for just shooting it. Uh, the Pharaoh, if you shoot it, you're basically dead. The Thunderbow isn't as bad as the Pharaoh, but it's pretty bad. Same, the Skyblaze is even worse than the Pharaoh, but it's so generous that it's worth. You can use it. Um, the or I guess I should say the Skyblaze actually does make up for its faults. Um, the Roto Fury is slower than the Volt, although not much slower. But then the Volt and the Fire Shot, they are just the king of speed. That is what makes them so good. Now, Volt versus the Fire Shot is slightly more accurate, I think. Or no, it's less accurate. I don't know. It's either less accurate and has a worse drop off. It's either equally as accurate or has a less worse or better. I don't know. I can't remember. I don't know. Maybe before I'll leave a comment and I'll actually say, and I'll look back on the old disc chats in the Discord and I'll actually tell you what I said. But um, The Volt, um, though, instead of having a faster bullet, it has this worse bullet speed. But the pro about the Volt is that yeah, no, it has better accuracy, I think. The pro with the Volt is it's really clean arc. It has a simple arc. It has almost no arc. One very clean shot. It's also cheaper, but no one cares about that. Um, what else? It has a cleaner arc. That's like the big pro. I think the fire shot is better than the Volt, but it's easily of all the weapons here the closest debate. Um, because the difference is barely noticeable. It is definitely noticeable, but barely. Same with these weapons; they also are very close, but it's up to personal preference on all of these. So if you use one or the other, don't feel too bad. You're still using the best weapon in the game. Um, and then yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this list. I think the Roto Fury genuinely is a big difference between these two. It really is like the middle child where it's like not, it's not like everyone likes you a lot, but everyone hates you. It's like it really is the middle child. So very borderline between them. Yeah, I feel pretty good about this list. Now I guess I'll explain this list really quickly. These weapons down here, they're just slightly worse than their counterparts. So the Magnus and the Commander, slightly worse than the Echo and the Fire Shot. For a long time, the Roto Fury was among these. I didn't realize it, but everyone else did, but me. So, um, but it's good. They're good enough to where you can use them in place of them. You aren't really giving up that much. The next tier is you are giving up a lot, but they're still viable. Like I could comfortably call this weapon probably better than like the Pharaoh. I could say that this weapon, it'll get you some kills. You'll be skilled. Same with all these weapons. I actually have no idea how good the trio is. Trio's faster bullet speed, but it's a joke otherwise. So it's hard to say where this weapon would be. I think it has a faster bullet speed than the Echo. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. It could not. You can get some kills with this. You definitely are not gonna be hindered. You're hindered. You're gonna be hindered a lot, but it's not an unviable choice. These weapons are actually so bad. Actually, no, not you. Sorry, what are you doing down there? These weapons are so bad. They are just not worth using under any circumstances. They are horrible. The Pharaoh would probably be here too, but some people swear by it, and I think it is actually good enough to just barely squeak by. Its faster bullet speed just good enough to barely squeak by. I actually do think, and its fire rate, it is better than the Phoenix in every way. But other than that, these are just not worth it at all. Um, so yeah, I think that's my tier list. Yeah, I'm feeling really good about this tier list. So, yeah, I guess I'll upload this. Warden sucks. I don't know what you're doing here. That was just a stupid mistake. All right. Bye.